Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about ways to find success in your sketching, and I would also like to share a few books that would aid in helping you do so. So, I have taken a few notes that I want to share with you. And first off, I want to start off by saying that no one while some people do have a natural born talent to just jump into sketching, but sketching, drawing, art, it is it is a skill, and a skill can be learned by anyone. So don't feel don't feel intimidated to pick up a pencil and a piece of paper and sit at a desk and practice by starting off with a simple circle and shedding it. And once this circle has been shedded and you add shadows to it, then it becomes more 3D, and now you have like a spear that is sitting up off of the page. So I will go over a few of these things and hopefully get a few people that are interested and feeling intimidated by sketching. Hopefully I can get you on board with it as well. So, first things first is your mindset. If you want to build success on the path of art, sketching, music, whatever your artistic path may be, writing, you must first and most important put yourself in the mindset that you belong there. You must live inside of this art that form that you want to exist in, meaning you have to begin to think like an artist, you live like an artist, eat like an artist, meaning when you prepare your plate of food, you want to prepare it with artistic detail so that you feel like you're sitting down to something special rather than just an ordinary plate. Put the extra effort into preparing anything that's going to give you that inside boost of self confidence and energy that you would need. And you have to even dress like an artist because you don't want to just walk around in, and nothing is wrong with walking around in a t-shirt and jeans, but you want to, if you are an artist, that is a talent that stands out, so you as a person should stand out also. So I would say that mindset is key. It is the highest and most important part of success, because if you constantly feel like you're living in an artistic role, it's going to make you want to show up more for that role and perform better in that role. Okay, secondly, you want to practice good habits, meaning you want to acquire a sketchbook and a pencil and actually use it. Don't just buy it and say I own for the sake of owning a sketchbook. And good habits would be showing up for yourself daily, daily if possible. And this goes for myself as well, because I feel like I could put a little more effort and time into my sketching because I would be on a much higher level than what I am on. Some people feel like the level I'm on is amazing, but internally, I know I could be in a better place if I took the time to put more time and effort into my art, my craft. So that goes to say, if you take every day, whether it is 5 minutes to say and put a date on it to say I did this today, or if you want to do a nice sit down and do a nice drawing, sit down for 10 minutes and focus on something that you want to sketch and get it down on paper. And if you want to be more in detail with it, set a 20-minute timer and spend at least 20 minutes on it. And through that, you'll see all kind of self-improvement, and it will help you feel stronger as an artist and want to show up for yourself even more. Every time I sit down and begin to pick my sketchbooks up and get back into doing my art, I fly. I take off and I fly with it. At one time, you can look on my page, I was constantly going live doing portraits. And this is when I felt most complete. If this is something that is in you, that's the times you're going to feel most complete, when you are sitting and you are living in that dream that you want to come true. Is going to always help you feel more complete. So another thing you want to do is always keep your sketchbook or your notebook on hand, because if you have the artistic mind that I have, you always have some kind of thought or something that comes across, and you just have to some kind of way jot it down or get this out of your head. And it's not going to be the complete sketch. It's going to be, sometimes you're going to jot it down and scribble scratch, and then you can write next to it what this is, and then go back to it later on and begin to bring that drawing to life. I often try to keep my sketchbook with me. I carry a backpack on my back every day, and I'm going to have to keep something smaller because I like to keep the books that I pretty much work in. I like to keep that with me. But what I'm going to have to do is get a smaller, like pocket size notebook that I do my quick jots down in. And also, most people are Apple people, but I keep a note type phone. The phone I'm filming on right now is a note type phone, and this is also a note phone, because if I have a quick thought that comes in my head, I pull my pen out and I'm just going to do the heart, for example. I simply sketch it down. And sometimes I'll write a note on the side of it as to what it is. And then when I get home, I can always go back and reference to what I have sketched into my phone. So it is very important to keep something on hand to get those quick notes out of your head. And also, I didn't bring it over here, but like I said, you can also take just pieces of paper if you don't want to sketch at the moment, and write down on certain pages in your sketchbook what idea you have that you want to sketch. And when you go back to it, you'll know, okay, so I had this idea in my head, and I can go ahead on and begin the sketch of that and get that down. Let me see if I can pull my notebook out to show this to you guys. Okay, so here you see like a scribble scratch type sketch. This is not complete at all, but on the back, you may not be able to see it. Before I even sketched this down, I wrote down what I wanted to sketch on this page. And that way, by being on the back of the page, I know what I wanted to sketch on the front. Here, just like you see this scribble scratch sketch here, I have on the back what this is supposed to be. Because sometimes you may start a sketch, and if you don't write what it is and you don't go back to it for weeks, you may forget what direction you were going in with it. But it's important to sketch down what you write down what you want to sketch, and then begin that sketch as well. And I have everything in this book from Scribble Scratch. Oh, stuff falling out. From Scribble Scratch, I keep all kind of things in here, things that don't look complete, and it goes all the way into, let's see if I can find it right quick. Things that are highly detailed. So you take your book, your sketchbook, and you just have fun with it and let yourself grow and develop from just that one book. Another thing is to keep simple tools. And simple tools would be a sketchbook, a decent eraser, and maybe 3 different grades of pencils. And that's it. Because you can become overly stimulated by having so many art tools when all you want is to begin just the basics of jumping into learning how to sketch. So just keep it as simple as possible, and think, and always keep in mind, okay, so I don't really need the big tools unless I'm doing a big project. But if you're doing something simple that you want to put inside of your own little notebook, sketchbook, or whatever, you just keep those simple tools with you. And another thing, some people say just keep a sketchbook, but I would say even if you have a journal, like this book is pretty much like a commonplace book. I keep all of my like my calendar notes, different stuff like that in here. But in the back, I haven't began sketching in it yet. I take different notes and ideas and things in here. But I can also add a spot back here for if I want to jot down sketches or whatever inside of this book. So it doesn't have to just be a sketchbook itself. It just has to be something that you can keep on hand with you at all times and write in. Of course, I wouldn't say if it's your school notebook or something important, something for work to jot notes down, sketch notes down in that. But if it's something personal and just something like this, then yeah, don't feel, don't limit yourself and feel like, oh, I can't do it in there because this is for this specific purpose. No, you just jot it down, and then you can always transfer it over to something else later. And with that being said, I should have added that also helps you. One of the biggest things you have to do is break away from being afraid of imperfections, because everything that you do can't be perfect, and that's a field that I struggle in myself. I always feel like when I'm doing something, I have to do it and it has to come out perfect, and it is a hard mindset to break yourself out of. But you have to realize that sometimes you have to go head on and put down the ugly in order to later on form the beautiful, because you have to get everything that's going on in your head, you have to get it out some kind of way. Whether it comes out ugly or beautiful, you just want to get it down. And that will help you break away from feeling like you have to do everything in that perfect way. So another important thing is inspiration. And that is where the importance of art books, photos, life observations come into play. You may take inspiration from flipping through a sketchbook, a book, an instructional art book, And that's the importance of having stuff like that, because you're supposed to be able to sit down and recopy this. Everything does not have to be original in order for you to be able to build and strengthen your own skills. You have to learn from somewhere. Even if we are self taught artists, we are still learning from somewhere. I have a lot of instructional books that I refer to, and I don't know if you can see this bookshelf that well, but I have a lot of master art books, even stuff down to the bottom, that I just keep stuff like this around me because it keeps me inspired. So the importance of references are, like I say, referring to photos. Taking a photo with your phone can help inspire you. And as you're scrolling on social media, I have so many screenshots that I take, and I need to create a folder for some of those. I have so many screenshots that I take. If I see something that inspires me, I try to find a way to hold on to it. And I'm pretty sure most people that has that artistic mindset does the same thing. If you see something, you want to grab it and hold on to it. Learning to draw from life can also help. At one time, I used to sit out and I would sketch some of the buildings, some of the homes that was around me. And one home that I lived in, I remember doing that. I haven't done it lately, but drawing from life helps a lot. It helps build another level of confidence. Also, sketching people from life. Like, you can be out in a bookshop or on a bus, and because people move so quickly, you want to kind of get the form down. You may not fully get the full image, the full details of what this person looked like, but if you get the form down of somebody pulling a book off of a shelf, you hurry up and jot down what that may look like, or someone reading a book on a bus. And I know we don't really do public transportation anymore, so that one may be hard. But maybe in a park or something, somebody sitting down reading a book, or in a coffee shop, someone sitting at a table reading a book. You may have more time, like if you're in a coffee shop, to kind of grasp, especially because it's a more still environment. And most people, if you're going to sit down in a coffee shop, you're going to sit there for at the least maybe 30 minutes. So start to pick up the skill of strengthening yourself by drawing from life, because this is another area that I have to strengthen, and I have to break out of that shell to actually push myself out there and want to do it. I have it internally. I just have to push myself out there to want to do it outwardly. So, another important thing to add is and it was something I've always done, but I never really realized that it was a helpful tool in doing my art, is squinting. I always found myself squinting at things. If I'm doing something, I would, even though I need glasses, especially to read, I still have a habit of squinting in order to kind of make myself see what I'm looking at better. So this is actually a, a tool in art, and I never really realized that until like reading and realizing that other people were saying that it was something that they did as well. I never really realized that that was a thing. And the last thing I want to talk about before I get into sharing the books is you want to focus on the shapes of things. Like, and I have an example here. So, if you look at this glass and you don't look at it as just a glass, and you look at the shape of this glass, you will see that this glass is the shape of a cylinder. This glass and this little plastic casing is basically the same shape. So if you sketch this cylinder straight down and then take the cylinder and build from it and start sketching the curves inside of the cylinder, all of the detailed curves and the roundness at the bottom, and you start erasing those cylinder lines away, and then you start building from there, then you will then be in the end have sketched this glass. So shapes are important. Some things that you see, I'm looking at a mug, a tall mug over there, which you can't see, that would start off as a cylinder. Roses, if you want to sketch roses, I would say start off with like a kind of a upside down teardrop, and then you can kind of build from there. So you don't want to focus on the object itself. Or if you want to sketch an open rose, start with a circle. A rose bud would be like maybe an upside down teardrop, but an open rose, which is still a challenge for me. Roses are still a challenge, but you start with the circle, the what it actually is, and then you start building from the shapes of the objects. So that's all I have to share. I have other points that I want to share, but I won't share them in this video because I do want to get to my desk and show you guys a few books that may help. So let's go ahead on and get over to my desk. So I have a whole stack of books that I want to share with you all. And I'm not going to be able to go into detail on everything, but this is pencil drawing, and this is the Walter Foster print, and it's from the Artist Library series. I like this little book. This is a good one to get into the beginning level of drawing. It begins by saying why draw. It gives you the materials needed, a work area, which is also important. It is important to have a space that you feel you can go to in order to produce your art or produce your thoughts, anything. It helps you get into a creative mindset. And it goes all the way down to the section of people sketching, and I will do a little flip through, a small flip through of this, and we see where it's showing us the materials we need. Of course, it starts off with the why draw. And another thing I failed to mention is when you are sketching is not like writing with a pencil. It's totally different. Most people, when you jump into sketching, you think that you have to take the pencil and just draw lines. No, you want to take the pencil and actually sketch your lines out, because you want your lines as light as possible. So you have lightweight on the pencil and you are sketching, because all of these lines don't actually stay. So that is a very, very important. Draw an ear here just to make it look like something, but that is a very important thing to have in mind as far as building on your art and sketching. You don't just want to just take and draw on paper and you're drawing hard lines that will be hard to erase. So, and that came to mind because I saw the guy sketching here, and that is something that, I internally, I do know that And I've always been a person that I've always had to have, even younger. I My favorite tool to write with was always a pencil, whether I was doing math, because in school, I don't know if it's still like that. You did math in pencil and you did your writing in ink. I always loved the feel of a sharp pencil to write with. I've always loved that. So here we have textures and strokes, and I'm just going to flip through just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on in this book and to help give you some books to take note of. So this one is pencil drawing, and it's the Artist Library series by Walter Foster. This is the two pencil method. Now, the two pencil method is something that I haven't really gotten into yet, because from this two pencil method, it describes using an HB pencil and a black colored pencil to add your darker details. That can be awesome, but I just have not jumped into the two pencil method yet. And I'll just flip through just so that you can see some of what's going on in here. And this one is how to draw anything in 3D. This one I think was a gift. I'm sure this book was a gift from my daughter-in-law. And this one focuses a lot on perspectives. From beginner level all the way to advanced level. Okay. So next I have here how to draw with photorealism. And this one, I think this was another gift from my daughter-in-law. And this one focuses more on realism. And this is another thing. I do have something like this. Let's see what, yes. See how they have this little circle here? And this is just something I just decided to keep from the inside. All this is the inside of some dry food label. I can't remember which one. How you have the little labels inside of the dry food seals that seals off jars and different stuff like that. That's all this is. And he's taking this and putting charcoal around it and building on this until, let's see, until it becomes this. So there's no sketching involved in that, and anyone can do that. So you just hold on to little tools that you think may help you in your art journey, and you build with that. This is a long tutorial. I love drawing eyes. And let's see the beginning part of this. And another thing you want to do is sometimes you want to do the same thing over and over. So something like practicing eyes. Doing the same thing over and over. Which I have another example of. I have eyes here. An eye here. I need to make sure that I really showed this well, because I went so quick. An eye here. I should have had this. Yeah, a practice eye here. And let's see. Eyes here. So you kind of want to practice the same details over and over in order to get better at it. This one is a very awesome book. Okay, and this one is Art Class, a complete guide to painting and drawing. So this one goes into painting and drawing, but you need anything that you can draw inspiration from is important. And tools, materials, all your equipment that's needed. This one is drawing and painting techniques also. And really, I'll show you the other one instead to save time. This one is the Big Book of Drawing. Also goes into like your charcoal and your charcoal pencils, papers. And this is the sepia style that I want to start drawing on. You'll have to look at my previous video that I posted where I did show how I purchased some sepia charcoal so that I can start creating images that look like that. Lifelike portraits from photographs. And I know I'm flipping backwards, going from back to front, but let's go back to this because this was fascinating. Look at those hands and look at how they started off. They started off with the shapes that the artist sees, and then they build into that. Clothing texture, love that. Fabric texture, I should say, not just clothing. Hair. And most of these books I am getting secondhand. You can look for books on eBay. It's important to go to your local used bookstores because you will find gems in those stores. Some books that may not even be in print anymore, you may look up on and find. And this is the Ted I don't want to mess up his name. Kuzaki pencil book. I have 2 books by him. The other one is in my room. Hopefully you can see this entire book. Let's see. Hold on. I may be a little too close. Okay, I raised it a little. Hopefully that helps. And we'll do a quick flip through of this one. And then you get nice instructional write-ups of everything that you all of the images that you see in the book. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention, and this is, yes, it's a coloring book, but it's almost like it's a written rule that we have to color in coloring books with crayons. And although it produces a beautiful image, you don't necessarily have to use crayons. If you want to learn how to build on shading, just you look at it like the line work is already there for you. So I'm going to take and say you add dark shading to this door and a light pencil here. So that's going to bring out the details in the door, almost to the point where it looks like a sketch portrait in the end rather than just a colored page. So coloring books can also be helpful in your artistic journey. So guys, I hope that some of the tips that I had to share with you all today will be a little insightful and help you on your artistic journey. And remember, the most important thing is for you to take out your sketchbook and your pencil and start creating. So until next time, guys, I hope this was helpful and thank you so much for watching.